There we go. And hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube. My name is Kadermas, otherwise known as Tone Shift, the Dungeon Master for today's, something slightly different. We're doing another Chronicles of Eno Interlude, but we have a completely different cast of players today. Like, none of these people have appeared in the main game. So we'll go through them one at a time. First up, we have Dalred playing Varl, a male Mithra monk. We have... Go on. Okay. We have Kenneth, or RPG Buster, whichever you prefer, playing Kupog, our male Moogle Dragoon, with dwarfism. We have my brother, Lord Noctis, playing Zandel, a male half-Elvon red mage. And last but not least, we have Sam, or Knives, or whichever you prefer, playing Katona, was it? Okay, playing Katona, a Galka Dark Knight with gigantism. Yeah, we got a bit of a weird assortment here today. So, this is going to be a one-shot, just a single session exploring something unrelated to the main game, well, not directly related at least. So, bear with me on that, and it is worth noting, basically none of these people have actually played this game before, or if they have, it's been a long time, and it might as well be their first time, so just bear with us on that as I try to get them up to speed on any of the rules they might not grasp out the gate. So, with that little introduction out of the way, let's set the stage, shall we? So, as I told each of you individually in the lead up to this, over the last year or so, the dark crystals known as the Demon Amber, or just the Amber if you are pressed for time, have been slowly growing more dangerous, more active. The demons they spawn and the corruption they sow into the land and the animals that inhabit it has been getting more and more intense, leading to increasingly large threats on smaller communities and even larger cities. And not more than a few months back, the entire island housing one of the larger Mithra cities known as Marasu disappeared beneath the waves. As a result of this incursion, of this swelling of the amber. In response, as the threat grows more intense and the crystals of darkness spread over the land like a cancerous ulcer, the various nations of the world have been, or of the known world rather, of this continent, have been putting forward the effort to, if not locate, then prepare various crystals of light and darkness, belonging, supposedly, to the various gods who inhabit this mortal realm. Ramu, Ifrit, Leviathan, Shiva, Bahamut. Odin is out there somewhere, but he doesn't have crystals to his name, because he's, he has to be the odd one out. One such place that is searching for the location of one of the crystals is the Northern Academy city of Anomo, a massive, sprawling feat of architecture and ingenuity created by the Tarufel centuries ago that has long since served as the pinnacle and center of arcane research and study. Just about all of the world's greatest mages have at some point studied within its hallowed halls. And it, being the northernmost settlement in all of Eno, in the known world rather, is serving as the staging point for the operation to search for a glacier farther north into the unexplored reaches of the ocean, where, allegedly, Shiva's ice crystal of light can be found, so that it can be a certain group of heroic individuals who have been going around slaying demons and gathering the crystals to combat the growing amber threat can be pointed right in its direction without having to be delayed. And that is where you all come in. To aid in the search, the Academy City put out this call for able-bodied and experienced veteran adventurers and travelers and soldiers to join in this enormous expeditionary effort into the northern oceans, relying on seafaring boats and airships to try and locate this glacier, with promises of great coin and other such treasures for those who succeed. And just right out the gate, there's just a participation award of sorts just for showing up and helping out. You have all, for your own assorted reasons, come together and joined in this expedition, be it out of a sense of duty, perhaps, or a desire to make the world a better place, or even just simple, money. Whatever your reasons, you were eventually assigned to one of the many, many airships conducting the search, referred to as the Scarlet Rose. A mid-size troop transport that has since taken off from the Academy City and is now flying northwards into the oceans. And you all find yourselves in a common room in the heart of the ship. You can hear the power of the Magitech engines farther below, thrumming and roaring to life as they propel the ship forwards. The gears hidden in the walls steadily ticking away, the puffing of steam giving the air this sort of damp feel. And the quiet murmuring of other adventurers who sort of secluded themselves off into their own little pockets. And you've all found your own little spot. And if you would all like to take a second to describe your characters to our audience, that would be fantastic. Let's just go in order and start with Dalred. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now, Kenneth. "12 inches. You tiny boy. All right. And Noctis. So,
He
1 second. I just realized that I totally forgot to unmute everyone on my desktop audio.
Great.
So we've been going
Good job.
for. Yeah, I'm terribly sorry. That was my mistake. We're not doing all of that over again, though.
Okay.
Just really quickly. Varl, say hi.
Hi.
Kenneth, say hi. You know, Kupog.
Yo, what's up?
Okay. Very quickly. Never mind. Fuck it. Just David, back to you. I'm so sorry. That was my bad. I take full responsibility. Carry on as you were.
Professionals here, folks. But
oh man, good lord.
I'm sorry.
Who are you again?
I'm that nerd sitting quiet in the corner with a sword
Zendo
that looks a
Morknight.
little bit too large for me.
All right. And Jesus. Yeah, Kupog is like 12 inches tall. Just as a pointing that out. And next we have Sam, Katona, your character.
Hi. I'm just sitting on the ground against a wall. Wow,
Okay.
what is going on with my voice?
I don't know. I do not know.
Wow.
As a,
Okay.
as a
You have
voice
to- you
actor,
have
I
to be
honestly
careful.
couldn't tell you.
Nope.
you have to be careful. You're kind of scrunched up. You're in an airship that's not big enough for you, probably.
Yeah, she's sitting on the floor, and yet she's still like 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Katona has gigantism, like we said. So while Kupog is 12 inches tall, Katona is 12 feet tall.
Yeah.
Bit of a weird
So-
dichotomy going on here.
How high is the ceiling in this room?
It says like 8 feet. So yeah, you got like 2 feet of headway if you're just kind of sitting down.
Can I just say that I'm just like sitting out on the deck then?
Sure, you're up top. Okay.
Yeah. Just like I'm not gonna fight the doors.
Yeah, like you're still sort of like getting looks as people sort of meander by, like, what the hell?
Yeah, and even more so, it's just like reddish skin with like palest eyes, messy, unkept hair. Just wearing kind of strong armor. And then she just has this giant axe sitting next to her.
Giant axe indeed, as it's a normal sized axe for her and probably bigger than me as a person.
It's like a giant two-handed axe.
For a giant 12-foot tall person, yeah, that's a big axe.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So,
she's just grumpy. That's it. Just
All right.
grumpy.
well then, for the time being, everyone else, down below decks, if you wish to take a minute to just interact with one another, you may do so.
Mm,
No,
I feel like the only one who's really would be social per se would probably be Varl.
Probably.
yeah,
Um,
Zandel's definitely keeping to himself, going through his research notes and such.
You're standing there and you become aware of a spear that's just sort of standing there and not falling over. Oh wait, there's a little furry dude holding it up.
Sure, let's go with that. Seems as logical as any other explanation we have.
So Varl, as a bit of, I guess, interaction, he's sort of gonna tilt his head as he looks at said tiny Moogle, and he's, "Hello there."
Greetings, adventurer.
I have a civic low voice, even though tiny, because why not?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna do the Kupos?
Only
You
when
have
it matters.
to. It's contractually obligated.
Just traditionally speaking, within this setting, a Moogle will say Kupo to indicate that I am done talking. It's basically just a word meaning your turn.
Kerbal.
I would hope that doesn't happen all the time because I'd get very old very fast.
You don't have to, but it will be assumed.
It's just the way things are. Kerper.
Okay.
Great. So
Get
Yeah.
to the papa. Papa.
Varl just sort of smiles and all right then. I'm Varl. He goes to offer his hand to shake, but then realizes you're too small. So
I sort of nod bow at you.
then Varl sort of looks amongst the other people of the crowd. He sees the our other player character sort of absorbed into his books and doesn't really want to necessarily bother him in his research at the moment. So Varro is then going to sort of excuse himself from the tiny Moogle and make his way topside to sort of. Is it nighttime right now? What time of day is it?
We'll go ahead and say that it's that like you've been flying for like a while now. It's like early morning. You've like been on this airship overnight at this point.
And what is
Okay.
the weather?
The weather, cold. It's very cold. You are currently looking at a cloudy sky, sharp wind, no snow though. But it is kind of a little on the foggy side.
And you said we were traveling north of the northern north, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, Varro will make his way sort of top deck to sort of see what the nature of outside is, having been in the middle regions of the ship for a while, and he then sees the very large Galka.
You just see the giant hanging out on the deck. Yeah. And like you've seen her before at this point. You've both been on this ship for over a day, so you have seen her. She probably hasn't seen you, but you have seen her. You know she is here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss.
The Moogle's a lot easier to miss because tiny.
Yeah, like right now, I'm assuming that Xandel is noticing Kupog for probably the first time as he glances up.
Oh yeah. Like you look at him and just like, wait, hold on. Why is that rat wearing armor? Oh, it's a Moogle. Why is he so small? Why is he here?
I basically look up and I see like a plushie you'd get from a store carrying around a spear, and I'm like, excuse me?
Naginata to be more precise, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we were with Dalred, so let's focus on him for now. We can do you two
Yes,
in a minute.
yes.
That's fine. Varro just sort of goes up to enjoy the night air for a bit. Since it's a little bit colder than what he's accustomed to, having grown up on a tropical island, apparently.
Northern tropical island, but yes.
So his ears are sort of twitchy because cold, but other than that, he's fine. He just goes up and enjoys the night air. He is not even going to attempt to make conversation with the giant lady, but because she is terrifying. But he is up there and sort of spending time on the top deck.
Okay. Well, then let's cut back down to Xandel and the Moogle then.
Sure.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You, pardon my asking, but you wouldn't happen to be a Dragoon, would you?
Very astute of you. Yes, I am. Kerper.
Ah. Good. You see me, like, put one book back in my bag, pull out another one. Would it be rude of me to ask how high you can jump?
He just sort of smiles. Not at all. Insert correct answer here. medium distance.
Fucking high.
I blast off again, but then I come back down next turn. So.
Let me see your.
Yeah, well,
You jump a long. You can leap a long range.
how
Gotcha.
what constitutes a long range?
You can technically see it.
Okay.
Can you see it, and is it relatively clear? Like in combat
Okay.
scenarios, I tend to illustrate a long range as being like 3 medium ranges, which a medium range. It's a thing. A short range is what you can move in a single round. You can move 2 short ranges if you use your whole turn to do it, like a sprint action in D&D. 3 short ranges make up a medium range. 3 medium ranges make up a long range when on a combat map.
So I'm picturing football field size roughly then?
Sure, we'll go with that.
I disappear up into the sky, and that's not just because I'm tiny.
Nyeh.
At any rate,
But that helped.
Xandel will sort of like, he'll nod, and scribble, write down the answer. Says, I have a bet with a friend back home, see. They recorded the world record, they say, for the highest Dragoon jump, but I'm willing to bet that they just made a number up. And who actually is keeping track of how high you folks are going?
The International Dragoon Squad. I don't know.
That's just a group that meets at the pub on Tuesdays. They don't. The only thing they know about Dragoons is that they hypothetically exist.
David has lore everything, so he would actually know that.
Yeah.
You know what? Roll that.
I'll
Roll
try.
that. Let's make that the first roll. Roll me lore everything, please.
Okay, so briefly walk me through how adding up these numbers.
You would just roll 2d6 and then add your lore everything number to that roll. And then
Alright,
I
so
will
let
tell
me
you
go.
if you succeed or fail.
So
As a
Let me-
side note, by the by, I actually have made macros.
Oh shit, really? For what?
Assuming that everything is straight, either for a normal roll, a 2d6 plus a modifier, whether it's a force finesse or a skill check or whatever, and then everything else, or the only other thing is a damage roll. Assuming that is correct, I have made a macro for both things.
Nice.
I can do something like, say, boop, just like that.
Nice.
there you go.
Or
Of course, I just type /R 2d6 plus insert number here.
yeah, or I can do something like that.
Right. Okay.
So I had a 9 on my roll, but I also add my lore everything,
Yes.
which gives it another 7, so 16 then.
Oh yeah, you know. This is the International Dragoon League, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so the International Dragoon League, I am improvising this, is a group of old retired dragoons who predominantly spend their time in the city of Volia and are notorious among dragoons who are currently in active service for boasting about all their shit when a lot of them were dishonorably discharged.
Nice.
So a lot of them just like to pretend that they were a hot shit when they got in hot shit.
And of course, I would have joined it thinking that they were, in fact, the hotness that I wanted to be a part of.
Of course.
Well, I guess you were like an independently trained dragoon, since they're an elite organization of military operatives. Anyways, carry on.
Sometime I will see if I can figure out exactly how tall I'm able to reach. And I'll let you know. Purple.
You just have to use rope and jump with it.
I was going to
Just keep
suggest
adding more that.
I was going to suggest find a cliff, jump as high up as you can at the height of your jump, you put a cut in the cliff before you fall. And then you just ladder on up and see how high that shit is.
That seems more logical.
Oh, not to mention, if you have a like defined height from say a mountain, and then you jump from the foot of the mountain to the top of the mountain, you then know that you can jump that distance, and you just start adding things to it to see if you can continue jumping higher and higher and higher, but with accurate measurements so that you're measuring the top distance. But anyway, moving on.
Anyway, yes, please. So, anything else you two wish to discuss there, Kupog and Zendel?
I'm probably good.
Yeah, he's happy. He's got a little bit more information to work with now.
All right. In that case, Varl, Sam, or Varl and Katona rather, you two
What?
are up on the deck of the ship, yes?
Yes.
Then in that case, I need the two of you to make for me awareness checks.
Woohoo!
Bum, bum, bum.
Ten.
10. And Katona?
9.
9. Okay. Well then, given the somewhat foggy nature of the night, or of the morning rather, and general things and how far apart the airships in this fleet are flying, none of you actually notice it until off to the right of the airship, you see, or rather hear, a low, bassy boom, like a distant explosion. And turning to look, you can see through the veil of mist this orange glow shining through the mist that is unmistakable as a surefire sign of a detonation. Curiously,
getting
there's a hint
closer?
of pale blue shining through.
Is it getting
Yeah, is it getting closer?
No, it's falling.
Oh.
From the few other people on the deck, you can hear these alarmed and startled murmurs as they're looking in that direction.
Do we know if there was like any other flying ships? Kind of?
Yeah, you were, there was like an entire fleet, and you were part of a group of it. There are a few other airships flying around yours that, like, if you look, you can see their silhouettes through the mist. A little
So
far
I
away,
guess
but
it's safe to assume that it's probably one of the ships.
probably.
Is there a ship captain nearby where we're at, up top?
Looking around, you do see an individual in uniform. Looks to be, older gentleman, human, on the older side of things. Looking off towards the explosion with that sort of paling look on his face back near the wheelhouse.
Sir, do we want to go investigate? See if one of the fleet has fallen?
Right, yes. Be ready for anything. We don't know what's waiting. And he quickly ducks back inside the wheelhouse, and a second later you hear this sort of a alarm sound going throughout the ship, and everyone hears this, even down below decks.
Just in case, to be ready, because Agile, Varl will sort of lace up on his hands his gauntlets.
All right. Then off to the left, another flare of orange. This one closer, and you look and you can actually see the silhouette of that airship practically breaking in half as if a meteor just hit it. Flames
Wait,
erupting from its hull.
Did it happen on either side of us?
Yep, one off to the right, one off to the left.
Okay.
Please-
Katona's gonna.
Please don't tell me we're going to have an aerial combat. That would suck.
Katona is
Um,
actually going to stand up now.
All right.
The
And
whole ship
so-
tips that way. Wait, no.
The ship is bigger than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna wander over to the edge and look down.
You look down and you see mist.
She's just watching.
Make an awareness check for me then.
$11.
All right. You're looking down, you're peering through the mist, and then you see, for the briefest of moments, this flicker of pale blue shooting up, and you follow it with your eyes as it darts up through the mist. You can't make out any details as it's just a glow shining through the fog, but it flies up to one of the other airships silhouetted in the mist. You see this brighter pulse of pale blue that's still muted against the mist before that airship also cracks and suddenly detonates.
Then Katona's gonna sit there and holler out, "The attacks from below."
All right. At this point, the entire ship has already gone into high alert. The alarm is blaring faster. The engines are thrumming up. Rest of you down below, you can tell that something is up. Anything you wish to do?
Cast a quick glance at my companion and say, I think we should go up and see what that's about.
Yes, let's go. Kerbo.
I quickly shove my notes back in my bag and wait for me.
All right. So you two make your way back onto the top deck, and you look around and you can see the lingering embers of orange drifting down further below, and you can see just about everyone up top is like heading for stations. Like there are cannons that are being grabbed onto and ready to fire if need be. The airship is flying much faster than it was before. And you can see a Mithra individual and a giant hanging out a little ways back.
Get-
Varl's tail is twitchy.
Well, Xandal will make his way over to them since they don't seem to be like, he doesn't want to disturb anyone who's like actively running around. So he heads over to them. What's going on exactly? Are we being attacked?
Seems to be the case. From somewhere below, I think you said. Sort of look off towards the giant.
Just a nod.
Below, eh? I'd like to peer over the side of the ship myself.
Mist.
We can't
That
determine
is-
how high up in the air we are.
Now, if you asked whoever was at the wheel, you could probably get an answer on that, but you can't determine that on your own at present.
Hold on. What was that spell?
Uh-oh.
Discern altitude.
My favorite spell.
That would be actually a surprisingly useful cantrip if it could discern like your altitude like above or below ground. Like you cast, it's
No.
like we are approximately 700 feet below ground, so you know how far up you have to go.
So I grab him and vault up into the air. It's like, okay, so how high was that?
That would be amazing. Well, I'm contemplating the possibility of just carpet bombing the earth below, but without being able to see what I'm carpet bombing. I'm thinking maybe I'll hold off.
Yeah, might want to not do that.
Right. Especially given the MP cost of the spell you're thinking of.
It would take a hefty amount, yes.
So Varl will go to the wheelhouse, and he sort of finds the captain again and just exactly how up are we, and can we take evasive maneuvers in this in some way?
The man
Just
at
in
the
case.
the man at the wheel gives you this sort of sidelong, irritated glance, like, "What do you think I'm doing?" And you see he's like moving the wheel about, and the ship is rocking as it's trying to dodge things. And then he looks at you. "Sir, how high up? A few hundred feet. We're supposed to be over open ocean right now."
Who all do we have any awareness of like some sort of? I suppose this would be a lore everything, Mister Smart Person.
Ooh.
And you were researching things in the deck below. So Varl comes running out, and he will sort of look to you, and he's, we're supposed to be over the ocean, and I think we are. But if something is attacking us from the ocean, would it be, what could it be? A monster, some sort of
Hmm.
enemy attacking these airships? Anything you
Zandel,
got there?
Zandel sort of thinks on it. Uh, Based on the type of attack, would he know? So this will get a +7 to it. So 17 for
17.
lore everything, based on the
Okay.
information I have.
Okay, based on the information that you have, given your geographical location and what little you are able to discern looking through the mist, your view of what's going on is obscured. But from what you can presently tell, there are a few varieties of far ocean creatures that theoretically could cause something akin to this, but something about that explanation doesn't quite ring right. Something about what you're looking at just doesn't add up. This doesn't seem to be water-based. The shade of the light that's flying up before the airships burst into flames isn't lining up with what you know about the elemental abilities of ocean creatures. It's too bright,
Okay.
too pale. It's more ice-focused, it seems.
And we're looking for Shiva's stuff.
Yeah.
Say, well, there are some creatures of the ocean that could do this, but I rather suspect we might be getting close to our goal, actually. And I point out the elemental nature of the attacks as they're coming up.
Let me see here. I actually need to roll something really quick.
And can Katona head towards the wheelhouse?
Sure you can.
She's gonna poke her head in the door and basically yell at the captain, either go higher or drop down so we can see.
He's like pulling on one of the levers. I'm trying to gain altitude, but these things don't rise very fast. As a troop transport, they're not the most agile things.
Then drop us.
He pushes you over.
You could try. You're like,
Yeah, I
I'm
was
just
about
gonna
to
hunch
say.
over just to look in.
So here's
Anyways,
a question:
yes.
if a dragoon, and in this case a tiny dragoon, can jump really, really high and then come back down and not have a problem, could our tiny Moogle theoretically jump off the boat and be fine?
I have one problem with that idea. I jump down into the middle of the ocean and don't have the leverage to return. So I'd rather not.
Like, if he had a solid surface to land on, then yeah, theoretically he could jump down, land, survey the scene, and jump back up. But you have no idea what's beneath you right now.
Although, in fairness, if you have the leg strength to jump that high, you could probably just swim where you need to go from there really fast.
Through frigid ocean waters that I can't even see, and there's a potential threat down there.
Get good experience for it.
Well, there's a chance that you could land on top of the threat.
But
Oh,
anyways,
there's also that.
well, anyways, by the way, that 8 I rolled comes into effect now.
Uh-oh.
Oh, joy.
Because as you're sort of discussing this, you see this sudden shimmering streak of pale blue magic that Zandel, we're still playing your 17 here, you look at it and you immediately recognize it looking as, oh, that's ice-based for sure. And then it goes flying up, coalescing above the ship. There's this pulse, and when the light fades, there's just a glacier. A miniature glacier, like a meteor made of ice, suspended above the airship and immediately dropping down.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not supposing that it's going to take enough time for me to throw anything at it, spell-wise.
You can try. Go ahead and make for me a finesse check for a reaction time.
All right, finesse. So 2d6 plus a 4.
Yep.
So an 8.
Give me just a second.
Hey, how about that? Your finesse is just as good as my cat reflexes.
All right, so an 8, you said?
Yes, yes.
No, not sufficient. Sorry. You go to like turn like, but you have a hard time trying to think through the sudden like, this is a bad situation. You can't figure out which spell to cast, and then just like that, the glacier slams into the heart of the deck. There's this powerful splintering sound, and a second later, this rush of flames from beneath as you hear the unmistakable shattering of the Magicite and the Magitech core shattering from the force of this blow. And you are all immediately overcome by a sense of vertigo as your stomachs jump into your throats as the airship begins to plummet. This airship
except for-
was a
except
lot
for-
larger than a lot of the others, I should point out. So it doesn't straight up split in half, but it does have a gaping hole in its top now.
So the glacier didn't stay; it just went straight through.
After it punched into the hull, a second later it dissolved into mist, seemingly. I'm also going to go ahead and swap us to a more fitting music arrangement. So, in response to this,
We're going
what are you
down.
all doing?
What is can Varro check to see if anyone? Okay, Varro is going to check the immediate vicinity of where the essentially iceberg glacier hit the ship to see if there's anyone in the immediate vicinity of where it ruptured the hole that is hurt.
Well, you have to kind of run up a little bit to the gaping hole and look down, and you see a lot of flattened people down below. Their bodies sort of encrusted with this thin layer of frost as they've been just pulverized into the planks beneath. Just flattened out. There are scatterings of red chunks of frozen everywhere, and there are a few other people sort of scattered around now nursing bludgeoning injuries, mostly like someone with like a crushed leg who's like trying to crawl away.
Okay.
Right.
Varro's immediate thought is to try to help those that can be helped.
All right.
So he is going as the ship is still like capsizing and going down, he is going to go below deck through the like ruptured hole so it's faster to try to get to the person who's got the hurt leg and all that sort of stuff.
Okay, make an athletics check for me, and while you're doing that, is anyone else trying to do anything while this is happening?
I just sent you a question in chat that will determine what
Well-
my next action is. Okay. So with that answer, Xandel will excitedly shout, "Oh, I know what it is!" And then I'm going to cast Comet on the ground below our ship.
Okay. Okay. Roll 2d6 for me, please, while I go and subtract your MP for that.
Okay.
That's 60 MP, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a
You have 104 MP left. Oh, Jesus. Okay, go ahead and roll me your power times 3 plus 2d6 one time, and just for the sake of expediency, we'll multiply that value by 10. And then I'll do some Dungeon Master magic to determine if anything even comes from that.
Alright, so slow down and tell me what I'm rolling again.
What is your power? Okay, what is your power?
My power is... Hold on, 13.
Okay. So I want you to type in the Roll20 chat /R
Flash R.
space
Space.
39 plus 2d6.
39 plus 2d6. Okay.
Now hit enter on that. So, assuming that hits anything before any armor calculations go on, that would be a flat 500 points of damage.
Lovely.
Now, I need to do some fancy schmancy Dungeon Master magic to determine if that even hits anything, because you're shooting blind.
I am. But if I'm remembering this spell right... Since it's the way that spell describes it is a shower of fire molten rock, so it should be covering a decent-sized area.
Indeed. Well, as it is, you have no idea if it hit anything as you sort of lift up a hand and it pulses. Well, actually, how about you flavor how your comet spell goes off? Where do the comets come from? How does it happen? Flavor that for me.
You would see me sort of like reach one hand that's glowing with like eldritch power into the air, and just sort of like almost like I'm straining really hard to pull something, pull it back down. And a moment later, you'd see flaming debris sort of come from above the clouds above us and just streak down past the airship at just really high speed, leaving trails of fire and smoke and ash.
Nice. You see 10 such streaks of flame and fire and ash streaking down before vanishing into the mist, followed a second later by a series of muted explosion sounds.
Even if it misses, it's a half decent warning shot, I would think.
Indeed. All right. Now, let's see here. Anyone else trying to do anything specific?
Yeah. Can I reach the captain? Even if I have to break walls, I will. I'll try to grab the captain.
Okay, go ahead and make for me a force check then, because you can't quite reach him as it is. You do have to punch through the wall, so make a force check for me, please.
So it's a 2d6 plus force.
Yep.
Ha!
Oh,
15.
hell yeah. Yeah, that's one more than you needed. So you sort of circle around to the front of the wheelhouse. You look at the captain sort of working with the wheel, is struggling with it, trying to pull levers. He looks up. You just kind of like give him this sort of like a tilt of the head, punch through the glass, and yank him out. Ah!
She just kind of like puts him over her shoulder and like goes over to the hole and just watches and try to determine when is the best time to sit there and jump.
Okay. And Kupog, are you trying to do anything?
I guess just getting ready by the edge in case I need to jump somewhere.
All right. Well, then let's cut back to Varl. You, with that 12-year-old a minute ago, you are able to make it down below decks in good time and get to the person who's sort of crawling his way along, and you can see like one of his legs just basically just straight up flattened. He is never using that thing again.
Okay. So does he have any kind of debris or anything that is in the way that is got him trapped, or is he just sort of dragging himself forward and that's
Yeah,
it?
he's not trapped. No, he's just dragging himself along. But I will point out that as you're coming down, it is just a sight to behold of devastation. As places that you would not even 24 hours ago had been feeling pretty safe and content and have just been pulverized and smashed and reduced to scrap and shrapnel.
Right.
And everything down here is covered in frost. It's like winter came early.
So Varl is going to spend the next bit, or however long it would take, to try to, as agilely and quickly as possible, though without causing more harm than good, to get people that are on the edges that have been hurt, that are towards the edges of the hole, that could potentially fall to their doom if the ship capsized too much, and try to get them away so that the amount of people that could get hurt from the ship crashing is minimized as best he can.
Okay, go ahead and make for me just an athletics check in general then, and we'll assume this will consume your time for a while. A 12?
12.
All right. Considering the number of wounded individuals and how hard it is to even identify who's wounded versus who's smooshed, you're having a relatively difficult time of it, but you're making progress in getting people into places where even if the ship rotates a whole bunch, they won't immediately plummet out and fall to their deaths.
Okay.
Now then, back up top. As this is all happening, a few seconds pass as the ship is continuing to lose altitude, still pushing forward through the air, but also dropping like a stone at the same time as its leftover forward momentum carries it. It's starting to angle slightly forward. You're all having to like grab onto something just to keep yourselves from falling, except for the Moogle, because they have wings, so he's just kind of fluttering there like, what's your problem? They naturally can't fly more than like 5 feet off the ground, but that isn't a problem here. Or 5 feet off whatever surface is beneath them, rather. But
I
anyway,
sort of imagine he has tiny wings because he's tiny, so he's like a hummingbird.
oh yeah. Like Moogle wings are already tiny relative to their body size. They're like a. They have no rights to keeping their weight up, and they don't. They just give them the ability to float a few feet off the ground. They're not technically actually flying.
He's basically flying like a bee.
Yeah, kinda,
I
I
was
guess.
gonna say, so whenever I'm flapping my little micro wings, you hear a buzzing like a fly.
Yeah, it's like. Anyways, so as you're hanging on to the rails and the ropes and just trying to hold on for dear life, you look ahead and you see a tree suddenly come forward out of the mist, and you realize you are much lower than you thought.
Can I use this time to try to jump?
You're trying to jump down
Onto
into
the
the
tree?
hold?
No, I'm trying to jump off the ship onto the tree.
Oh. Okay. And you're carrying the captain with you.
Yep.
Well then, make an athletics check for me.
Oh boy.
This is going to be a very high DC, by the way.
11.
You fail.
Yes.
For something this intense, you were going to need an 18.
Oh.
Yeah, this wasn't an easy one. So you jump off, and you hit the tree, but not the way you were hoping.
That's fine.
You just kind of clothesline it in the belly, and you lose your grip on the captain, and he just goes flailing off like a rag doll forward, like, ah! And you lose track
I
of
hope
him
you're
as
okay.
you can't speak. The wind just got knocked out of your lungs. You just impacted. You just impacted with something at high velocity airship. Your HP. Hang on a second while I figure out just how much damage that did to you. From that impact, you just took 179 points of damage from that.
Oh, that is.
That is literally half. That was the equivalent of falling from a medium range. You just lost half your HP.
That's fine. I'm good.
As for the rest of you, you watched the giant just hop off the side of the airship with the captain, so your leadership's gone.
So, got a question.
Yes?
Seeing her dip over the edge, I imagine that it would be a lot easier for me to hop down there now that I know where I would be going. Can I hop down after them?
Yeah, you can just use jump and you just easily just doing, just flop down.
Yeah. And upon landing, I pull out a couple of potions and offer to her. You need some potions?
Yeah, she falls out of the tree and flumps into the snow in front of you. You just come up and
Wait.
offer a few little vials.
Am I face first in the snow or on my back?
Back, you are looking up at the sky, just looking at the trail of smoke the airship left in its wake.
And all of a sudden, into your field of view, in leans this tiny little thing, like climbing up on you to look down in your face. Would you like some potions, Kerpow?
She tries to speak, but it's just a long groan and just like, put the hand out.
I'll give her 2 of my potions.
Okay, so you can drink those, and that'll give you back your lost HP. It will not, however, return your lost pride.
Correct.
That's fine.
All right.
Is there a way that's easier for us to track our health than MP?
I do have tokens on a map that is keeping track of your current numbers. We aren't on that map at the moment, though, so just trust that I'm keeping tabs of your numbers, and when it comes time for them to be relevant in a combat situation, you will have them handy just like that.
And potions do 25 health, correct?
Yes, so both of those put together give you back your full HP.
Okay, I'll just take both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyways, back up on the airship. Zandel, you just watched the giant and the Moogle leave. What are you doing?
I'm assuming I also saw the captain leave.
Yeah, you saw the giant just steal the captain and leave.
So, can I see enough of the environment to figure out how bad I think this crash is going to be?
Go ahead and make an awareness check for me. Why don't you make a nature check, rather?
Nature, huh? Let me see what I can actually put into nature. Sure wish you would have asked me for that awareness. That's going to be a flat 2d6 for this. That's a 7.
Well, you're not really an expert on the design of airships, so you don't know how much they are designed to take. But looking down at the geography below you, you're like, oh yeah, this thing ain't flying again as you're coming down.
Yeah.
It's rough
I was-
enough there, like it is very much snowy terrain. Lots of snow. You see the occasional tree sticking up, but it mostly just appears to be flat snow and ice with plenty of bluish rocks jutting up from the ground here and there like walls of ice. It's creating this almost sort of like you know, like those big areas that are just like open grasslands with a lot of fucking rocks.
Yes.
It's kind of like that, but the rocks are made of ice.
Lovely. Okay. So, how does the snow look particularly deep?
You have no way of knowing that from this altitude and at this
At
At this
under these
velocity.
circumstances.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'm about to gamble because I feel like if I stay on this ship, I'm just gonna get smashed by something. So I'm gonna just pick what I think looks like the safest patch of snow and aim for it.
You're jumping off?
Yep.
Roll me an athletics check, please.
It is my fond hope that this will increase my odds for survival. Athletics. So this. So it should be like that. Yay!
All right.
11.
11. Well,
I mean, not actually that good of a roll. I don't know why I said yay.
it's better than it could have been. As it is, since you weren't trying to jump into a tree, this does go better for you than it did for Katona, but not by a whole lot. You jump out, and you only realize after you jump out that, like, we are still moving really fucking fast. You hit the ground rolling, just tumbling along, and you will take 25% of your max HP as damage.
Okay.
So that is 64 points of damage to you.
So, okay. It's not ideal, but I can work with it.
Indeed. And Varl. Well, you're occupied, so... with trying to help people, so...
Yeah. Would I be able to, like, focusing on trying to get everyone else away from any other sort of danger as best I can anyway, knowing that this thing is just going to crash. I then very easily see the giant jump off the ship.
I mean, you're below decks, so it wouldn't be easy, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So I'm focusing on what I'm focusing on currently.
All right, so,
Um,
in that case, everyone's pretty much done all they can on the airship for the moment, mostly because a lot of them have left the airship.
Yeah.
So, those of you on the ground look up and watch as the airship continues its descent, starting to smash into trees and jutting up bits of rock, sending bits of shrapnel, debris, and splintered wood flying in all directions. The snapping and cracking of the hull and everything it's hitting echoing through the frozen terrain as you watch it descend and disappear into the mist ahead, before you see the flare of orange and the deafening bang of the crash and probably detonation of the engines. And for you, Varl, on board, the airship's momentum suddenly begins to jerk around wildly, and you struggle just to stay on your feet. Everyone else is being tossed around and thrown off their feet, screaming and crying out. Your best efforts to keep them safe have helped, for sure, but you still see a few people being thrown into the walls at high speeds and then promptly collapsing, limp, and probably dead from the force of the blows. And then finally, there's this great lurching sensation as everyone is thrown against one wall, and you hear this powerful loud explosive detonation. Gravity seems to disobey for a second, when in fact it's just the ship lifting its rear up into the air as it grinds along the ground nose first, carving this huge trench into the snow and ice before slumping back down. And then finally falling still, with the low white noise of drifting dust lingering in the air in its wake.
Okay, so
I'm going
Ship
to
now
change our
crashed.
music now.
ship now crashed, and not really having the means, short of potions, to try to help people that are on board, Varl's sort of gonna. Part of him wants to stay to make sure the people are okay, but then part of him realizes that what they're looking for may be out and amongst the snow somewhere. So hoping that he can look to the distance and that the group is not too far away from the ship, Varro is going to see if he can find where everyone is. Maybe looking for that giant who may be easy to spot even from a distance.
All right. So you're stepping out of the airship then?
Yes.
All right. It takes you a minute to kind of claw your way through the wreckage and the debris. And I am assuming the rest of you are just following after the fallen ship.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. In that case, I'll go ahead and swap us over to a map of your current environment.
Oh man.
Okay.
Okay. Got.
So it takes a few minutes, but Zandel, Katona, and Kupog, you're able to sort of follow the trail of devastation and make your way to where the airship crashed. You can see the gigantic trench it left in its wake. Lots of debris scattered around, shattered stones sort of framing its now still hull and the smoke rising up from it. It's amazing this thing even has a recognizable shape after that landing.
Wait, I have a question. I
Shoot.
might have missed it. How does Fall have full health?
Oh, Varl? You know what? That's
Yeah.
actually a good point. Varl, make a finesse check for me. Watch a force check, rather.
Force?
Yes.
Force. 5.
Okay. So not enough to mitigate all of the damage you would have taken, but you do take 25%. So you take 128 points of damage from that.
Ow. Okay. Thank you, Sam.
Sorry, I was just like, I'm confused. Like, was it safer just to stay on the ship?
That was originally what I'd been planning for you all to do. So
I thought
To be
that
fair-
would have been like a
That
lot
is-
more damage since there was like a giant explosion.
To be fair, I do deal more damage when I take more damage with my limit break. But anyway, moving on.
So yeah, Varl, as you're sort of climbing your way out of the wreckage and jumping down to the snow below, immediately hit by this biting, freezing wind. Like, ugh. You look off to your left, and you can see Zandel and Kupog and Katona not far off, sort of trudging their way towards you, looking a little battered, but otherwise in good condition.
How deep is the snow now that we're actually in it?
I'd say maybe about 6 inches.
So I think it would be adorable if, like, a small puppy running through the snow, it's like all of a sudden I, like, hop out of it, you see I'm there, and then I disappear, and then I hop out of it, you see me, I disappear. Like,
Yeah, sure, if
that
you
would
want to
be
do it
awesome.
that way. If you just
Sure.
have wings, but if you want to do it that way, by all means, go for it. I won't stop you. And yes, you can freely move your tokens around.
Sweet.
You should be able to, at least.
Kaboing. Kaboing.
All right, so
He's saying kaboing and his name's Kapog. So anyway,
fucking poggers, man.
Fantastic.
All right, so what you all doing then is you link back up by the big ass gaping hole in the hull.
Is everyone all right? Does anyone need healing?
Varl sort of rolls his shoulders and I think I'm okay.
What about Zendel?
A bit banged up, but I can say I've had worse.
I'll fetch out a couple of potions, one in each hand, and bounce over and extend them to him if he would accept them.
Just
Oh, thank you very much, but I have my own supply.
I am liking this Moogle. He's just so charitable with his healing items. I'm liking it a lot.
He looks slightly disappointed. I was like, well, all right then. And as he puts it back
So, was anyone able to sort of target out where the blast came from so that we can... You say it was a monster or something different or what? Sort of look to the lore person.
Yes, based on the nature of the attack that took down our airship, I believe that we are dealing with a creature called a frost behemoth.
yeah.
Great, lovely. Okay.
So, even though we survived the crash, we should still be quite cautious.
On our garden. Okay. So,
It is worth pointing out
Varl
really
sort of-
quickly, since you still had that 17 lore everything, and that's a really damn good number. I will point out that, to your knowledge, though exceptionally dangerous and rare, and easy to provoke, frost behemoths have never been known to use their ability to summon ice meteors on airships before.
All right.
It is very uncharacteristic. They usually don't perceive airships as threats or dangerous at all. They usually just ignore them like a passing bird, barely sparing them a thought. So this is very unusual behavior for one of them.
Well, I suppose I will share that with my new companions and tell them, although that attack definitely belonged to a creature like them, the behavior is quite odd. They would not normally attack our ship like that.
What, you think someone tamed one?
I mean, I suppose it's possible, but without knowing more, I would not feel confident passing a guess.
Well, our means to get out of here is dead.
Oh, hey, did anyone find the captain, by the way, on our way back?
I lost track of him when I hit the tree.
Ah, I consider
Right,
whether I want to walk back that way, and I'm like,
Probably have to go back that way either way if we want to go deal with this behemoth.
yeah. So Varl sort of looks back into the ship to see the people that are either hurt, and what... Yeah, he sort of realizes he can't do much for the people, and though the Moogle is very charitable with his potions, I don't think we have enough to heal everybody on the ship.
You do see, looking in, that there are a few adventurers who, kind of knocked up looking, seem to be able to stand up on their own feet and carry themselves. They look to be in about as good condition as you guys. Little dinged up, but otherwise all right. They're sort of already moving to provide aid.
So Varl will sort of speak up to whoever looks the most or the least worse for wear among those adventurers, and he's could you keep an eye on the ship and the others here to make sure they stay safe? I think the rest of us here are wanting to go and see what we can figure out of what happened.
The individual, this tall woman, Elvon Dragoon, looks over at you and lifts up the faceplate on her dragon-themed helmet and gives you a nod. Right. We'll see what we can do here. If you want to solve the problem, by all means, go for it. I'm not sure I want to fight anything that can summon giant glaciers like that.
Varl will nod, and then... so, do we have any idea where he might be in relation to us? I suppose that would be a lure everything thing, maybe.
No, that wouldn't be a lore check. I would say you could make a standard finesse check to see if you could kind of finagle it out.
Not quite sure how that's finesse, but okie dokie.
Because finesse is like your mental stuff.
No fair.
All right, a 13. Thinking about it, thinking about what you know, you're not an expert on behemoths.
Nope.
But you do You are generally sort of aware of the usual knowledge everyone has about them, that they're big, that they're territorial carnivores, and that they have this really obnoxious ability to summon meteors and throw them at people. Frost behemoths are probably no different with their frost meteors or giant glaciers that they drop on things. But you also know that their glaciers, that their frost meteors don't necessarily have a supremely long range that they can be summoned at. So wherever this thing was when it started dropping blocks of ice on the fleet, it must have been probably, you must have flown right over it. So going back the way you came, following the trench, presumably, would give you the best chance of finding this thing.
Okay. So Varl sort of looks to the rest of the companions, and the blast couldn't have come from very far away. Let's go back and see if maybe we flew over it when we crashed. Sort of off this way.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like a plan for both.
It is as Varl is saying that, and hold on a second. Okay, apparently it was resolved. Okay, so, well, for one thing, the trench is back here, alright.
Which way? Oh,
Back here,
right.
southern end of the map where the people came from. You are flying north. Anyway, so, as you are starting to head that way, Katona, who's in the back, if you could make an awareness check for me, please.
She gave a BRB.
Oh,
Yeah, she just said she'd follow the
okay,
group.
all right, if someone else then could make an awareness check, please, either Kupag or Varl.
How do you do this?
Just 2d6 plus your awareness score. Should be on your character sheet, which you should be able to open.
I have it open. Awareness is
Skill. Third skill down.
Dex.
No,
Awareness.
Those are your attributes. Your skills are off on the right-hand side.
Oh, right, gotcha. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay. And awareness is a +0, so
You didn't put anything into awareness?
apparently not.
Okay, then. Well, an 8, it's not exactly, it's pretty easy to detect as you're sort of turning to start making your way south. 8 anyway. As you're sort of turning to start making your way back south, following the way you came, this sound reaches your ear. And Katona's, we'll say, just because she's further back.
What is that?
That is the sound you hear of something somewhere off to the north and left of your current position on the map, north and west, that is drawing closer.
Over here somewhere.
I think we should get out of here. Because this would have attracted attention.
Sort of look back and you see coming in over a small rise in the terrain over like a hill of snow, you see a creature with a very strange body. It's like a floating ball with 2 little legs and a spindly tail lashing around behind it, and these large green bat-like wings flapping erratically to keep it aloft, a massive Cheshire grin, and a single enormous green eye that you notice is starting to flicker and flash orange. Coming your way.
One of them things.
It's like, obviously it's suffering from dry red eyes, so I offer it an eye drop. I'm not joking. They do that.
No.
Right. Okay. So Katona's the closest one to it. Is she going to fight it, or are we going to move?
Oh. Evil eye. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's making its way directly for the wreckage, and given that you can see the little flickers of amber-colored light in its eye, it's very easy for anyone.
It's going towards the wreckage, not us?
It's going directly for the wreckage.
Okay, Varl's running at it.
Okay, you're charging it?
Yep.
Alrighty, well then. This is the part where we enter battle. Now,
Dun, dun, dun.
really quickly, while I get this all set up, I need to quickly point out that turn orders in this game work a little differently than they do in Dungeons & Dragons because there isn't, strictly speaking, a set turn order. Rather, it goes good guys and then bad guys.
Okay.
So how do we decide amongst ourselves who goes first?
You can pretty much just decide for yourselves. You can just like, hey, do you want to do something? Like pretty much whoever speaks up first can go, or if they just want to hold off and wait for something else, they can go. If you want to do something, just do it.
Is it reasonable to say that I will get to it first? I am running towards it.
Well, let's see here. You are just shy of being able to get within a melee range and still have chance to attack it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to at the very least get in its vicinity to try to stop it from going towards the ship.
All right, so Varl's whole turn is spent sprinting forward and sort of sliding to a halt in front of the Amber Evil Eye, which halts briefly and is sort of glaring down at you in irritation, like, what are you doing?
Stopping you.
Would you say it's a medium distance away from us?
Let's see here. It is, from you at least, almost a medium range. It's just shy.
That is a cool metric. Let's see. So it just stays saying short range. So 3 short range would be medium range, and then 9 would be long range.
Yes.
Cool. Making sure I'm picking up what you're putting down. Speaking about picking up, can I hop into the air with the intent of crashing down on it from above?
You're going to use jump?
Yep.
All right, yep. You use jump, and that will eat up your turn.
Yep.
So
I'm
let me just
a million
give...
miles in the air up over top of it.
Yeah, sure, stop moving yourself, please, so I can give you the jump icon.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. All right. So, Katona and Xandel, you guys still need to do things?
Yes.
Yep. So I took Fast Cast as my limit ability. Does that mean I have it? I don't remember if that means I have it all the time or if not.
Let me double check what that does. Red Mage. If the rulebook will comply. It is not complying. Why the fuck is it not responding? You little bitch. Hang on a second, it's being a bitch.
That sounds like it.
Yeah, it's being a bitch, the bitch. There we go. All right. And Red Mage's ability is Fast Cast. Fast Cast allows for you may cast 1 spell each round as a standard action instead of a slow action. So yeah, that's just across all combat.
Perfect. So, since Varl is like right up on that thing, do I know, looking at this evil eye, do I remember? I'm assuming it's primarily magical attacks. Yes. Does that make sense?
Go ahead and make a lore everything check, I guess.
Okay.
Either that or nature, whichever suits your fancy.
I'm gonna do the one that I have points in.
Fair enough.
Oh, I did that wrong. Screw it. I'll mess with that later. 17.
17. Okay, thinking about it, you know that creatures like this, Ahrimans and Evil Eyes, tend to focus more on certain debilitating abilities, not specific spells with the exception of Demi or Quarter, but they do tend to be more arcane-based rather than melee, but their attacks aren't necessarily specific spells in the strictest sense.
Oh.
They're magic-based attacks, but not spells.
Okay, well, at any rate, I think I'm going to use my turn to cast the shell spell on Varl then.
Alrighty then.
Oh, nice.
Since he's probably going to get it first from that thing.
Alright, so Varl, as you're rushing up in front of this thing, you suddenly look down and realize, wait, hold on, why am I covered in green light as these various interlocking triangles of green arcane energy swiftly swirl up around you, forming this pyramid before sort of and flickering out of existence. So you have the effects of shell for 4 rounds.
Varl sees this as it comes up, and he just sort of smirks and is like, "All right," cracks knuckles.
All right, and Katona, unless Zandel wants to use his movement action.
Yeah, Zandel's gonna move up behind what I'm assuming behind this rock here,
Just
to sort of have some cover.
And just as a heads up, when you are moving your token around, when you have the left click held down, you can also click and hold the right mouse button to see the measurement of how far you've gone. And per movement action, you can only move one short range.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I'm just heading up behind this rock.
All right, so you're taking cover there. Now it's Katona.
Yeah, take the movement action to get closer.
All right.
So, how close can I go?
You can move one short range, so you can get to about there. If you want to use your entire turn to use 2, then you could conceivably get to about there.
No, just 1. So.
All right, so you move about there.
And then she will use a spell.
Ooh, which one?
Poison.
Poison. Okay.
Yeah, dealing power times 1 points of shadow damage.
Okay,
Inflicting
so
them-
you are initiating a slow action to do that then, so that'll go off at the start of your next turn.
Okay.
You ain't a red mage, so you don't get the swift cast. Which means it is now time for the Evil Eye. And hold on a second, apparently the music it tried to swap to in the music player doesn't exist anymore, so...
Shame, I was digging the tactics tunes.
I mean, I have plenty
I
of
know,
those.
right?
I have plenty of those.
Well, I'm out.
It was trying to switch to a different one that apparently got removed from YouTube a second ago. Anyways, so it is now time for the Amber Evil Eye to take its move. And it is going to glare angrily at Varl for getting in its way. It's going to suddenly stop flapping its wings for a second as they fold in front of its face. And then it's going to flare out wide as this blinding flash of light emerges from its eye. And it is going to make an attack roll against you. Tell me, what is your avoidance?
My avoidance is 7.
Well, you got hit.
Ah,
So, what is your magic armor really quick?
0.
All right. Well, either way, we half that number to 42, and that is the amount of damage you take as this blinding flash of light hits you in the face. Now, really quickly, we need to make 2 opposed force checks.
Why would the damage be halved? Just
Because
to-
shell. And that was a
Oh, right.
magic-based attack.
Gotcha.
All right, so I need you to make for me
do I
a...
take 42?
yeah, I already applied it to your token.
Oh, okay. Okay. Force you said?
Yep, you need to beat an 11. On this first one, and I actually... Okay, so you avoid being afflicted with blind, and now I need to do one thing here. The other status condition that automatically is associated with all of its regular attacks does not go off. So there's this blinding flash, and your eyes hurt, but you can still see. And it is back to the party.
Can you counter a magic attack? I'm assuming not.
Well, that was technically not a spell, so that was a short-range attack. So yeah, you could actually do a counterattack on that if you wanted.
Counterattack. Bop.
Okay, I believe you need to make your accuracy on that.
Yep. 12.
12. That hits. That is 1 more than you needed.
So that is normal damage then?
Yep, whatever your regular damage is. 2d6 plus your power times... You know.
53.
All right, 53. Minus 10 for its armor score, so it takes 43 points of damage. As you lean back after it, flashed you, and you're like, bitch! And you punch it right in the eye that it flashed you with, and it leans back, just...
Yep.
And with that, it is back to the players. Two things immediately happen. First, Kupog lands. So go ahead and make for me does it say you need to make an accuracy roll for a Dragoon landing? Let me double check.
At the end of the, let's see, I jump and it ends my turn. Then I do a short range attack the next turn. So probably.
It's a melee attack. So you have to make the accuracy check. Yeah.
Okay, so that is 2d6 plus accuracy.
2d6 plus ACC. Everything is 2d6 in this game until you start adding destiny points into the mix, and then it gets weird. And that'll hit.
Nice. And then damage is
what
listed
tier is
right there.
What tier is your weapon precisely again?
4, I believe.
So it would be your power times 4, and then you would add 2d6 onto that number.
But I have Dragon Fang, so it's Dex times 4 instead.
Oh yeah, so 10 times 4, so 40 at base plus 2d6. So just roll 40 plus 2d6. 43. Minus 10 for its armor, so that sucker takes 33 damage as you come in and shank it with your lance. You all watch as Kupog comes down like this little dark dart, just stabs into the top of this creature's head, and it shakes around angrily and tosses Kupog off. And he sort of drifts over here a little bit.
And remind me, how do crits actually work again?
If you
6-6?
roll, it's 6-6.
5-6.
It's 6-6.
But because I have a crit weapon, it's 5-6, right?
Yes. And now the next thing that goes off is Katona's poison spell. So go ahead and roll your damage for me, please. Yes?
Is this considered an attack?
It's considered a spell, so it's not an attack.
Okay, then.
It automatically succeeds. You don't need to make an accuracy check.
Alright, and damage is just power, whatever my power is, times 1.
Yep.
So 12?
12 plus 2d6, I do believe.
It just didn't show the 2d6.
Oh, it didn't? Let me double check the spells listing then. Okay, yeah, no 2d6. So yeah, just power times 1 then.
So it's 12.
All right, so real quickly, I need you to make.
It's a damage over time because poison.
Yeah, I need you to make an opposed finesse check against this thing for that to take effect.
So now it's a 2d6 plus 4. Whatever, my finesse is.
Yeah. You need to be
8.
Oh. For a second, I thought the 8 was what I rolled. So unfortunately, the poison doesn't take.
Damn it.
And also, as you watch the green globs of, matter rising up around the amber evil eye, you see its eye sort of darting around at the green stuff, and its tongue just kind of lolls out and it slurps some of it up. And it regains 12 hit points.
Shit.
Oh, lovely.
These creatures absorb shadow damage. That said, if you had passed that finesse check, it still would have taken poison damage, but it would have just first, gotten 12 HP back. But it would have still taken the regular damage from poison as a result.
So next turn happens now, since those are slow actions and things?
Yep, those are the slow actions that just resolved, so now everyone has a full turn of stuff to do. One standard action, one movement action, or just one slow action.
Do we want to go in normal order? Or the order that we went in, or do we want to change it up?
I think we all input our commands, and then the turn happens.
In theory,
okay.
In theory, that's how it's supposed to go, but I just kind of go in the order of whoever speaks up first and tells me what they're doing first. Sometimes if you're undecisive, I'll just call on someone.
So we're all quick on his feet and whatnot. So you have been making the statement of minus his armor.
Yeah.
Does this thing have discernible armor?
No, it just seems to have just a thick hide.
Okay, fair enough. So
Why?
because I have shatter armor.
And Does that require that the enemy have a discernible piece of armor on them, or is it just a thing you can do?
Creature who is wearing
Yeah.
Creature who is wearing armor has equipped armor destroyed, or a monster who the GM deems is utilizing protective gear.
Okay, so
That's why I made the way I did.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't do anything here then.
Right. Okay. So, with that in mind, then I am going to. Yeah, I'm just gonna smack it.
Okay, make an accuracy check.
12.
That hits. Give me your damage.
$83.
All right, so that is a total of 43 points of damage. As after you watch these swirling globules of green goop swirling around it, and then Kupog comes down, poking it in the head. You're like, ah, and you punch it in the underside of its jaw, and it kind of lurches up for a second before glaring back down at you. This thing's durable.
Mm-hmm. Seems that way.
All right, so just since Kupog is the other one in melee range, what are you doing? Just as a heads up, you can't immediately use jump again. You won't be able to use it until your next turn after this one. It's just kind of a house rule I run where a Dragoon can't immediately use jump again after landing. They can't use it on the same turn they landed.
Right, that makes sense. But I do get a
You do
turn
still
otherwise.
you do still get a full turn, yes.
Okay. So I think I'm going to try and attack it with my assassin stick.
You're okay.
But I want to do half damage to try and activate the blind and poison. Is that how that works?
I think it's a case like you could. I think we said you could pick one at the time of the attack.
So I have to choose if I wish to blind or if I wish to poison.
Let me double check that. That was the status touch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a much wider assortment of properties here than I'm used to on my main party, because they all just pick attribute bonuses. So, okay.
135.
Status touch. You can attempt to add the specified negative status condition to the target on a successful weapon attack by choosing to deal 50% damage or by. Because it doesn't say you have to pick one. Sure, let's just say you can attempt to add both of them, but they will each come with their own opposed roll.
That's fair.
But you have to you have to attack first.
So that would be the standard hit plus accuracy to see if I hit.
Yep, 2d6 plus accuracy.
It says rolling the dice. Roll a 16 hit.
Yeah, by about 5. So
then 23 plus opposed checks.
Yep, so give me just a second. That is at least 13 damage it takes after applying its armor. And now we need to make 2 opposed force checks.
Opposed force or finesse?
Force, because this is being applied physically rather than magically.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Does size difference matter?
In this case, no.
Okay.
You're like trying to impart something that's on your weapon. You're not like wiggling into something, so.
Okay. So force.
Okay. Which condition is this first one, by the way?
It is blind and then poison.
Okay, so blind does not take. Let's go for poison. All right, so blind does not take. Poison does. So Kupog, you sort of give her Naginata, your assassin stick, a little twirl and stick it right under one of its legs. You were trying to go for its eye, but the way it's flapping around kind of made your aim just a little off, but you still stab it, and you can tell that it didn't like that as it quickly jerks away. And you can already see the sort of erosion effect around the stab wound. It is poisoned for 4 rounds.
Nice.
All right, now let's go over to our the people in the back.
My character's just gonna move twice to get close.
All right. So,
All right. Xandel will poke his head out from behind this here rock, get a clear line of sight on what's going on, and he's going to send a fire spell at this guy,
all right.
which I believe is power times 3, yeah?
I
Hold on.
believe so. Yeah, for a single
Yes.
target. Yeah.
So that would be 39 plus a 2d6. Which I think I put in correctly. Yay! 46.
All right. All right. Let me see here. So 46.
And just for flavor, I specifically point my finger judgmentally at the thing, and the fireball leaps from my hand.
All right.
You're like, you.
All right. So.
You specifically.
All right. So the fireball flies from your fingertips and strikes against it, and lets out this irritated, shrieking roar in response. And as the smoke from the small explosion sort of parts, you realize, that did not do quite as much damage as I had been hoping. It doesn't have a resistance to fire, but it does have a magic armor of 25 you are able to discern.
I spit a word that my parents would not approve of.
Well, anyways, it's its turn now, and it immediately takes 150 points of damage from poison.
Nice.
And it is very, very not happy. So let's see here. So it is going to look between the 3 people who are currently bothering it. And it is going to go after Varl, because he's been there the longest.
Nice.
I have a really odd, quick question.
Yes?
What was the points that we get for attributes? Like, total?
It was, why are you asking? Or do you think you got something wrong?
I think, I don't know. I just want to double check.
I think it's 26.
It was 36.
Yes.
Some
I
of
can't
yours,
math.
some of yours got tweaked a little bit because you're a giant. Like your power and res got a big buff.
I just want to make sure.
Either way,
Wait, my res got tweaked?
yeah, your res and your power, I believe, both got buffed because you're a giant, but your avoidance
got
took a hit.
buffed by 2. Okay.
Right. Anyways, so this sucker is going to expend 100 MP and begins a slow action as you watch magic energy radiating around it. And Katona and Xandel, you both immediately recognize that it is using, I believe this is, let me double check the School of Magic really quick. I believe
Interrupt.
Yeah.
Stone.
it is time magic. You can tell from the gray aura wrapping around it that it is casting a time magic spell.
Oh, joy.
Now it is
Joy.
back to the rest of you.
Okay. So, let's see.
Hold on a
I
second.
forgot to mention something.
Yes?
I had deteriorate times 2, so it should have gotten a -4 on opposed force check.
Oh, whoops, we forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
too
knew
late
something was
now.
off.
Too late now. We'll do that next time. We'll just write it off as a Katona still being a little frazzled from the fall.
Yeah. Like, where am I?
Who are you? What's going on? Why is the moon here?
And funny enough, I shouldn't have taken any damage from the fall.
Oh yeah, because of defy gravity. We forgot about those things. My bad. It just seemed funny at the time.
Yeah, let's just go with it.
Well, to be fair, that wasn't fall damage. That was you slamming into a tree. Slightly different.
Any damage
There we
from jumping or falling, she jumped.
Fair enough.
So.
Anyway. So,
So I would like to try and poke its giant eye with my assassin stick,
okay. Go ahead with an attack roll then.
which is this.
That'll hit for sure.
And I like status ailment, so half damage again.
All right. Which status are you? Oh, you're trying to inflict both of them, right? Okay. Let's do our opposed force checks. First one is blindness.
Can you get poisoned twice?
It refreshes.
Yeah, it'll refresh.
All
it.
right.
Okay, so blindness does not take. A re-up on poison, however, does take.
Yep.
So you go for its eye, you kind of miss as it blinks, and your Naginata sort of stabs into its thick eyelid, and you pull back out, and there's still some corrosion going on there as it blinks its eye back open. It just yells angrily at you, just,
Good.
Varl's gonna smack it.
Alrighty, roll it.
I missed.
Yeah, yes you do. You go to punch it, and its claw just kind of baps your fist aside.
Is there attack of opportunities in this game?
No, there is not.
Yeah, okay. Varl's just staying where he's at. Never mind.
Alright, has Katona done anything yet?
She's going to smack it. I'm looking at something real quick.
Alright. Just as a heads up with the amount of stuff I do have planned, it's possible this might become a two-shot. Just heads up. We've already been going longer than I was expecting us to get to those points, so just bear that in mind. The crash took longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Sure. Let's just whack it with my huge weapon.
Okay.
So what's
Go ahead.
that for accuracy?
Yep. Wish I had a mini-boss playlist, because this guy is not technically classified as a regular enemy. This is a notorious enemy.
Ouch.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Roll me 1d6, please.
5.
Roll your damage, please.
Oh shit.
Great.
Let's see.
Shit.
12 times 3 is 36.
Oh, God.
42, and then there's the knockback thing.
Okay, real quickly, tell me what your force is.
My force is 5.
Okay, Varl, make a force check for me, please.
Oh.
Okay, so you take 42 points of damage, but you manage to hold your ground. As Katona swings her battle axe towards the Amber Evil Eye, seemingly with the intent of interrupting its cast, but it sees the blow coming, and it lifts up just a little bit with a flap of its wings and kicks at the shaft of her axe, and it goes flying wide off course. Katona, you overreach, and you realize too late that your axe is flying right in for Varl, and you just get him right in the chest.
Varl
And
bounces back to his feet.
Yeah, just
Bounces
kinda knocks
back to
you
his
a bit.
feet, kickback style, and he's just sort of, all right, I'm good.
All right.
It's fine.
Yep, and Xandel.
Remind me again how the HP drain quality works.
HP.
Because I'm trying to find it in the rule book right now, and I haven't quite found it yet.
The specific one, or with
With the one with my weapon.
Okay, let me double check that, because we have it as an item in the handouts tab. Skalfnung. Shadow
Yes,
Demon.
but it doesn't. I don't. But it just says that it has the HP drain. So I was trying to double check.
HP drain. In addition to dealing damage, every successful attack with this weapon restores the wielder's hit points by an amount equivalent to 50% of the damage inflicted by the attack after modifying for armor.
All right, sweet. All right, so I'm pretty sure I'll have to do nothing but move to get in close this turn, but I feel like my sword's going to hurt this guy more than just lobbing low-level fire spells. So that's what I'm doing.
All right, so you get into a short range. It is to the enemy. He takes another 150 from poison. He's looking pretty rough at this point, and his slow action goes off, and he turns to you, Kupog, having decided mid-cast to change his target because of you constantly poisoning his ass. And the rest of you watch as directly above Kupog's head, there's a sudden swirl of shadowy magic that then erupts down into this rapidly descending and expanding dome of shadowy magic that falls over Kupog, compressing him into the ground. And when it fully passes, he slowly drifts back up. That was Demi, and it automatically reduces your HP by half. So you are down to 168. It does not take your armor into consideration.
It's a rough spell.
Indeed. Lucky you, he doesn't have the MP to cast it again.
I do like that.
That said, he is then going to use his standard action to use a different attack of his, Shadow Gaze, and he is again attacking Kupog, because Kupog has annoyed him.
Ha.
So, your avoidance, please.
Avoidance is 7.
Yeah, no, you don't dodge that. Okay. Your, armor, please.
Armor is 20.
Alrighty. Now give me just give me a second. So that is because this is a shadow damage attack, and you, despite being a tiny rodent thing, are classified as a humanoid. You take 73 points of damage as this wave of shadowy mist just pours out of its eye and its mouth over Kupog, and when it passes, he is looking really rough. He's just kind of wavering in the air like, ow. Like you see like patches of a fur have kind of fallen off, and there's these bits of erosion underneath where his skin is kind of turned red and blistery or dark. There's a little bit of blood coming out of his cute little pricky nose. It fucking hurt.
Doesn't sound good.
Okay, so it's our turn now?
I assume it should be.
Indeed it is.
All
Okay.
right.
I know what I would like to do.
What would you like to do?
Me too.
So I can drink a potion and still do an attack, right?
Yes, it'll cost you your movement action to drink the potion, but you can drink a potion and still do an attack, is usually how I rule it. You sacrifice a movement action for it.
I would like to do a potion, which is 25%, and then I would like to do Lancet.
All right. So you get back 84 HP, and Lancet.
Would be mind times... Where is it? Mind times weapon tier, which is 4. So that's 24 plus 2d6.
Yeah. It's an instant action. You still have to land an attack roll.
Gotcha. And that would be accuracy of 6.
Yes.
13.
Okay, yep, you got it.
And I said 24 plus 2d6, right?
I believe so.
So 31 for Lancet damage.
Alrighty. That counts as magic armor damage, right? It does not specify, so we will assume physical, because that's just what your weapon naturally does.
Okay.
So it becomes 21 thanks to its magic
21.
armor, and then I believe everyone else regains 31 HP and MP.
Ooh.
Yes.
I like
Myself
that.
Nice.
included. It says all allies.
Yep. So yep, everyone gets all that back. So Kupog sort of drifts back a little bit, the sort of swirl of red and blue energy swirling around him before he points his Naginata at the thing. There's this lance of light that comes out of it, hits the Naginata in the underbelly before pulling back, and there's this wave of blue light that flies over everyone while the red light dissipates. And you all feel just a little rejuvenated.
All right. Well,
How bad is this thing looking?
I'd say he's on his last third. Or thereabouts.
Okay.
This is technically a mini-boss difficulty enemy, so he's not super squishy.
Right. So Varl is going to want to go out with a little bit of a flare here. So he is going to flip backwards because agile monk person. And he's going to go full anime. First he's going to use boost, which is a finisher for his monk effect to increase his avoidance, and accuracy scores by 1 as an instant action.
Okay.
And then he's going to set up Aura Bolt, slow action that goes off next turn.
Okay. You get like
So he-
combo points for doing cool for like landing attacks, right?
Yep.
Does it say there is a max number of combo points you can have, or is there no cap?
5.
9?
5.
5.
5.
Okay. In
Yep.
that case, in that case, your blue bar, we can now say is your combo bar. So go ahead and set that to whatever you wish.
Okay. It is currently set to 0 because boost will drop it to 0, and I am setting up Aura Bolt, which is Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z.
Right, so that's a slow action. All right, so that'll go off at the start of your next turn. All right,
And
so
and while that's going down, Xandel would like to try to stab the fucker in the teeth.
all right, make an accuracy check.
Alright, let's take a peek at my accuracy real quick.
Yes,
5.
we
2d6.
slow action.
That'll
12.
hit. That'll hit. Roll damage.
By the way, I just realized the eye never took the thorns damage from me.
Right, how does that work?
So one is my armor will passively do force times half level, which would be 20, I believe.
Okay.
That's just passive, and it ignores all resistance and armor and such.
Okay, and,
And
what
technically I have-
what triggered that again? The attack against you?
Physical, short range physical attacks against me.
Okay.
And then I also have the Whirling Spear ability, which is short range physical attacks by enemy trigger finesse times level physical damage.
Right.
Also,
So that was how much additional damage?
finesse is 4 times level is 8, so 32. So a total of 52.
And is Whirling Spear at all decreased by enemy's defense? No, it ignores, so Jesus Christ. Okay, how much was the Whirling Spear again? 30-something?
It was 32 for Whirling Spear, 20 for armor.
So a total
Sorry,
of 52. Okay.
Yes.
Jesus.
Sorry.
All right, so yeah. So you took a lot more damage. This is okay. Ouch. All right. Okay, so Xandel, 57. That becomes 47 because of armor score.
And then I get half of that back.
Are you, well, That's a tricky one because while it's technically day out right now, there is fog.
It's true.
Tell you what, I will let you regain 25% of that damage back as HP.
Alright, so I
It's
did
like a muted
40.
version of the effect.
Okay.
So you get 14 hit points back.
How many you said?
14.
14. Okay. I can deal with having 14 more hit points.
So yeah, you all watch as Xandel sort of brings his blade up into the underside of this thing, and there's this flash of blood as he bites through its skin, and this brief little swirl of red as energy flows out of its wound and back into Xandel. And I believe the only one who has yet to go this round is Katona.
Yeah. She wants to hit it.
All right, make an attack roll.
Bum, 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 bum.
Does a 15
There
hit?
we go.
Yes, a 15 absolutely hits. The things you guys are kind of deduced at this point. Its avoidance is 11.
Okay. 30. First off, 45.
It becomes 35 because of its stuff.
Actually, MP damage. Does it have an MP bar?
It does. It can't really
So-
use it anymore.
Okay.
It used basically all of its MP for Demi, so.
Okay. And
So you're wanting to do MP damage or just HP damage?
just HP damage, because it if it doesn't have an MP score, then it's just normal damage.
All right. So your attack connects. You sort of bring your axe down against its side. Do you want to try to do the knockback thing?
Yes.
All right. Opposed force check. Get a beat of 14. All right.
Ah.
So, what direction would you like to knock it?
This way.
All right. So,
Something like, actually, probably technically that way.
all right. So you give it a hard knock with your axe, and it goes sliding back through the air a fair distance. Sort of catches itself, glaring at you ominously. It's its turn, and you watch as it begins to like get ready to do something. Its eye starts to glow, and then you just watch as the corrosion that Kubag had started continues to eat through it, wearing through its body, and it looks down, gives off this last little and just falls to the ground in a partially dissolved heap. It dies from poison damage.
Goopoggers.
Fuck you!
And then off goes a beam of light from Orbital for no
Yeah,
reason.
your aura ball just kind of shoots over what it was.
That tree
Shit.
on that mountain way over there is obliterated.
Oh shit, I
No,
missed.
no. The captain was circling his way back around.
Oh no!
Oh,
No,
Hey guys,
I'm not,
what I missed up?
I'm mean, but not that mean. Also, the party gets 1 ether for that. Just as the loot, and also a single point of destiny is acquired.
So we would have a total of 5 if we did the quote thing from your
Yep.
initial 3.
Yep.
Whatever you have goes up by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that was a
Making sure.
notorious enemy.
Hooray.
Let's see.
So how does passive HP recovery work?
If you take a travel rest, which is basically a full rest but in the wilderness, you get back 50% of your max HP and MP. If you take a full rest, which usually entails having like a tent or sleeping at an inn or something, then it's 100% recovery of all stats.
I believe I purchased a tent if we want to make use of such a thing.
Yeah, if you want to spend like a solid 8 hours just licking your wounds.
Or I can pass drinks all around.
I'm gonna drink an ether for sure.
All right.
I will consume 2 potions.
There. I've got my MP high enough to cast my big guns if need be.
As I'm like sitting here double fisting 2 potions, I look over at Varl, and as I finish one, I grab a third and offer it out in his direction.
Sure. Well, we'll take it.
All right.
So I'll hand him a potion.
So Varl will get back 128 hit points. And it's at about this time that Shell wears off, by the way.
So plus,
25%.
128.
I know that there's a way to add it into the thing by clicking it somehow, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's called, first you click on your token, then you click on the little colored sphere that has the value, and then you just type in plus, and then whatever you want to add.
In my case, it was plus how much?
128. So you would type in plus 128, hit enter, and you're good.
There we go.
Kupog, why is your HP negative 25? It is supposed to be at max.
What is my max HP again?
336.
Okay.
You can't do percentages with that thing, unfortunately.
That's what I was checking.
It only
'Cause
really
you-
works with plus and minus, sadly.
Yeah, you can do plus and minus, but the percent makes it do kooky things. So
Yeah.
All right.
just testing.
So we got some potions all around, and All right. Do we want to continue moving towards wherever this potential enemy? He's obviously not what shattered the ship, so.
Right.
No.
We were in the middle of going south to find that. So back southward then.
Yes.
All right, well then. You start all making your way southward. If you could stop moving your tokens for a second, because I need to copy them for whenever we get to our next map, so your stats will carry over.
Gotcha.
I'm glad I used boost for no reason. Yay. It's fine.
And you had a cool idea, just, poison kind of beat you to the punch.
Yeah.
All right, so you start making your way south, following the trail of devastation left in the wake of the airship crashing, leaving the other adventurers to guard the wreckage and the survivors. You don't see any sign of the captain as you're going, but you imagine he can probably take care of himself. He wouldn't have been put in charge of an airship if he couldn't. And you start working your way steadily southward. The trench is long and gives you the sort of natural highway to follow where the ice has been worn smooth from the impact. So you just follow that for a while. And I need everyone to make an awareness check as you're going after about 30 minutes of walking.
4. Okay.
All right. So, Zandel sees it.
Nice.
Also, did you get my reply whisper?
Yeah, I saw.
Okay, just making sure. So, Zandel, as you guys are making your way south, having whatever idle chatter you wish, you look off, and off to the west, you see this sort of elevated series of, almost like exaggerated steps of ice-based glacial cliff sides rising up higher and higher into the air, almost like a natural pyramid of sorts, complete with the various levels that flatten out before rising up and flattening out, and it's colossal in scale. You're not sure how you missed it, probably because it was still misty, but that mist is starting to clear out, giving you a clearer view of the landscape you've landed on. And at the base of this seemingly natural glacial pyramid, sort of looking down, you see this natural sort of valley that sort of funnels in and up the terrain up to what looks to be the entrance to a cave.
That's ominous.
Yep, I will point at it and say, it does look like it's a big cave opening.
Looks like you could all kind of squeeze in side by side if you wanted, with maybe one of you having to sort of shuffle back a little bit thanks to Katona's width.
My question was more, is it a cave big enough that a frost behemoth might decide to go take a nap inside?
You're not sure. You can't see far enough in from here. You can just see the entrance sort of heading deeper in.
All right.
How tall is the entrance?
I'd say 15 feet. There's no risk of Katona not fitting.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Stay in
Well,
the back, following everyone.
I'll definitely point it out to the group then. I don't know if that's where we'd find the creature we seek, but it seems a place to start.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
I'm-
Sure, Kerper.
And as Zandel was the one who made the discovery, he will trot into the lead.
All right. If you guys could give me a marching order then, Zandel in front.
I'll be bounding right behind.
Okay.
And then I guess Varl's after that, Katona be in the back, maybe?
All right.
Yep.
Well then. You step forward into the entrance of this cave, and it very rapidly widens out and blossoms into this far larger chamber that, after looking at it for a second, you realize this is not a natural formation. And your biggest giveaway for that, the big things that immediately tip you off that this was put here,
Rectangle.
are, for one thing, there is an altar in the middle of the room, carved and chiseled out of ice with the sort of weird spike rising up out of the middle of it. The sort of big enough for it's about the size of I'd say like a great sword handle kind of spike. And then off to the left and right past that altar, framing on either side this passage where it looks like there was this bit of a melted ice that once formed a wall. You see these two pillars made of this combination of ice and stone that are just standing there with these weird, intricate patterns carved into their surface.
Mm.
And again, at the end, there is a passageway where it looks like a wall of ice had melted that leads deeper in.
I want to go up to the altar and see if I can determine anything more about it based on the details you've described.
Make an awareness check.
Who might have made it or whatnot.
Make an awareness check.
All right.
Oh shit, natural success. All right.
Yeah.
So you look it over for a second and you immediately spot on the spike that there is this depiction of an eye. That is, let's see here. Let me double check something. You spot this eye that is facing directly at the pillar on the left. As for who made it, you aren't actually sure about that, but the very clean, straight lines and flat surfaces, it's all pristine and practically perfect in its construction despite its simple geometry. And this leads you to think that no mortal hand could have sculpted this unassisted.
All right.
Would lore monsters yield any information about it?
If you want to roll lore monsters, you can.
And the meanwhile, Zandel is gonna be quickly making a sketch of what he's seeing in his book, in his journal.
All right, a 9? No. You have no fucking clue what any of this is. You're looking at it like, this has nothing to do with monsters.
Gotcha.
This is archaeology.
There's something about that left pillar. I point at it vaguely with my quill before going back to my sketch.
Varro will go and investigate this left pillar then.
All right, awareness check.
I think I'd eventually remember what my awareness roll is.
I mean, you find that it
9.
also has. You find looking it over that it also has a large depiction of an eye, but aside from that, you're not really sure of any meaningful detail.
Is the eye are the eyes facing each other from a distance, or can I tell?
Looking at the eye on this one, you see that it is pointing towards the pillar on the right.
The
So
pillar
I
on
from
the
the
right
altar.
had an eye?
So I from the altar pointing to the pillar on the left. I from the pillar pointing to the pillar on the right.
Right.
Okay. Take a look at this pillar then.
All right, looking at that one, it's a similar story. You find that it also has an eye on it, but it is pointing at the melted wall of ice.
Ah.
Do these pillars look as though they could be turned?
Yes.
Or better, yes?
Like your natural 20 awareness there. That's what, or critical success awareness there. You look down and it's like, oh yes, these can be rotated. Looks like they're set now, but you can see the little gap where it could rotate off of, the base.
So this was most likely some sort of apparatus specifically meant to open this. Okay. if I happen to turn, let's say, this right pillar so that it's not facing towards that way anymore, does anything happen?
Well, you put your hands on it to try and turn it, and to your surprise, it does not budge. It gives this little, but it doesn't otherwise move.
Maybe something on the altar would move it?
There doesn't seem to be anything on the altar. Like you know, these things are. You know, these things theoretically can move, but it looks like right now they are not.
All right. Well, two possibilities. Either this was a prison or a vault. I'm hoping for a vault, personally.
All right. Well, then, if
And
you
we go,
are...
I guess.
All right, so you proceed through the gap, the opening in the wall, and you start making your way further in, and the passage curves off sharply to the left, and it is this surprisingly smooth, rounded tunnel as you go. Give me just a second to sort of draw it in there. There we go. Like I said, it sort of curves sharply off to the left, and you can immediately sort of see, looking through, that it then splits into this much larger tunnel to the left and right, with some obvious signs of long-time erosion towards the back.
Okay.
On over here.
So the passage goes up and down, or rather north and south, and it has been a steady march of it, like it has been slowly but surely sloping upwards as you have been going. The southward path that you look down goes down, while the path heading up, or the path heading north, is sloping gradually upwards.
That looks like it gets bigger. The one that goes north. Does it?
Does.
Give me just a second. I just kind of draw it in here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, like, widen. Okay.
I was going to say the North Passage widens to a boss arena, but never mind.
I'd say we should probably follow that, though. All my gamer instincts tell me that if there's a pyramid, natural or otherwise, the top is where the treasure should be.
Certain death, but okay.
Personally,
I-
I think that personally, I would say that the enemy is north, and what we want as fun is down north, down south. But anyway,
That would be my gamer instinct. Obvious answer is north, so south.
Perhaps. All right.
so
So, sounds like the vote is in favor of south.
Okay.
let's go
All
south.
right.
All right, so everyone's going south. Heading south, it's not long as you're sort of carefully making your way down this surprisingly steep downward slope that you see a side passage opening off to the right. And looking down into it, it's a little darker down there. You can't really see right out the gate, but you can tell that it enters into something akin to a room. It's kind of dimmer. It doesn't seem to have the same sort of natural illumination as the rest of this, as if this wasn't initially part of the construction.
I don't suppose dark vision's a thing in
Nope.
this game.
No dark vision.
I was going to say, I consume an eye drop because it cures darkness. I'm joking.
Lose a destiny point. I'm kidding.
Okay.
All the Final Fantasy characters put eye drops in, and their eyes just turn into flashlights. No stealth at all, but they know where they're going.
Do they though? Because all they see is blinding white light. They are blind and not stealthy. Anyway, so
Even better.
so Katona, you're going first.
Yeah.
All right. As you're stepping into this darker environment, you are immediately it's like you walk into a wall of just this putrid stench, like rotting corpses.
Oh yay, more of these.
Does Varl rush forward to try and help resuscitate them?
No, shush. I wanna be
But even
helpful,
though you can smell the stench of rot, you see no bodies.
Well, that's ominous.
Well, where is everybody?
I say let's go back.
No. Now I'm curious.
Let's go back. If you
There's
can
nothing in
smell
here?
death, there's nothing here. Let's go.
I mean, if you want to make awareness checks, you guys.
Mm,
9.
A 9, a 6,
13.
13.
and 8.
Okay, so Katona notices. Being the naturally taller individual she is, she has sort of a wider field of view of things, and she's like, come on, guys, there's nothing. Oh, as she looks up, and you see up on the roof various shapes suspended, held to the ceiling by thick, frosty webbing. And curled up by the cocoons, these icy blue spiders, 3 of them, large in size, about as big as Katona, honestly, just kind of curled up, motionless.
Slowly, let's leave.
Yeah, Zandel don't fuck with spiders.
Okay. Alrighty.
He'll leave now.
Okay. So you take a second to back out. If whoever has the highest stealth could just make a stealth check, please.
That's not gonna be me.
I'm pretty
great.
stealthy.
Yeah,
Who's
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kupog kind of setting the stage. You're like if you see someone's about to set their foot down too hard, you quickly sort of shuffle over and just like, no. You make them set it down more gently, and bit by bit, you are able to back out of the room without waking the spiders.
Okay, now we head north.
Yep.
is there any more to the way south, or is it just dead end? down
It's just a dead end at that point, and it's further south.
there? Okay, north we go.
All right, so you dodged an entire encounter there. Nicely done.
Hooray!
All right, so making your way up the northern passage, as you're sort of stepping up, it very sharply turns to the right, and you can immediately see this sort of surprisingly sort of empty sort of dead end right there, but it keeps going and hooks down to the right yet again.
I look up at the ceiling.
It's a ceiling this time. It's just a naturally smooth curved, well, you know, like it's a chiseled, smooth, curved ceiling. No spiders. This is part of the natural structure.
And there's nothing up in here?
Nope, just a dead end.
Okay.
When I was initially planning for this one shot, there was going to be something there, but then I realized, that might be a bit too much for them to hit in one setting. So I nixed it.
Gotcha.
So going this way.
Making your way further down, you find another such dead end off to the left, and the passage continues going. The angle up getting gradually steeper and steeper as you go.
Is the ground... we're walking in ice, right? Or
Yeah,
is this
the-
all
yeah,
stone?
It's all ice.
Alright.
Like, it's rough enough that you're able to get, like, that you have traction. You can keep your footing. Where did Katona go?
She's just up towards the top of the exposed part of the map right now.
She disappeared on my screen. Hold on.
No?
I'm here.
Well, she disappeared from me, so I'm going to refresh my page. Give me a little bit. There you are. Okay, so you continue moving for a while. Up and up and up and up and up and up. Before eventually, if you'll give me just a second here, you step out into a new chamber. If you'll give me just a second here to get a different map ready. Because you guys kind of skipped
boy.
the combat encounter I had on the last one.
Yay!
I'm done.
So you have been walking pretty much directly up for a while now.
Oh,
When-
look, another pillar.
Indeed. I'm just gonna do this.
2 more pillars. 3 more pillars.
Oh, my lord. There's some stuff here.
I'm going to assume there's a fourth one hiding over here somewhere.
Yeah, that seems like it would check out.
Nope,
Uh-oh.
it's an altar. Nope.
Oh.
Oh,
All right, so
Shinexy.
stepping
Okay.
forward, Katona, as you're stepping into that sort of region there, you look off to the side, off to the right, and you see another passage that ends in what looks like a cave-in, and you see a crushed pair of legs. It's kind of poking out right there.
She wanders over to them.
You make your way
We're all
over.
going over there as well.
You make your way over and you examine the legs, and you realize these are relatively fresh. These have been here probably for less than an hour when that cave-in occurred.
Pull them out.
I mean, if you can try,
She would like to try to pull them out.
make a force check for me, please.
Pull the legs off of the dead body underneath.
11.
Okay, so it almost turns out like Varl predicted, but after a second, you you sort of bodily shoulder up one of the rocks, pinning the body, and you pull it back out, and it's still not pretty. The body is very much crushed in this kind of ugly red paste, just kind of smears the ground as you drag it back out. This is a dead man. But what little survives of his gear, of his equipment, tells you this was probably one of the people from one of the crashed airships. Another survivor from a different crash must have gotten here before you.
Okay.
An adventurer?
Possibly.
Okay.
These pillars in this room, do they have the same eyes on them as the ones downstairs?
That they do.
Are they lined up pointing towards where the cave-in happened, like going from the altar to pillar to pillar to pillar?
Nope. At present, each one you look at, like the first one you're standing next to there is just pointing north. If you make your way up to the second one,
Yeah.
you will
Up here.
find that it is also pointing north, and you also get a view of the rest of the chamber.
Okay.
I knew there was a fourth one up there.
Yeah, you're right.
So we gotta get them to aim at the cave-in.
Maybe.
No,
That's where
there's
that guy was trying to
there's a
go.
giant wall in front.
Yeah, there is a big wall of shiny reflective ice directly in front of the altar.
Yes. Does it look like there could be something behind it?
Maybe. If there is, you can't see it, though.
Because I feel like the guy who got caved in was trying to go that way.
I think the cave-in was a mishap of something they did wrong here.
Entirely possible. Let me see.
Well, I was going to take a look at this pillar here. Does it have any eyes, and where are they pointing?
It also has an eye, and it is pointing north. All of the pillars have their eyes pointing north right now.
I feel like the guy solved the first puzzle and got crushed to death before he got a chance to start this one, maybe?
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm picking up.
So,
So what if we had the
is this
and
a
the
wall?
What was
That area
Varl?
there, a solid wall?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
solid wall. The really dark blue there is solid wall. That's impassable.
Does this
And-
one rotate?
You sort of put your hands on it, and despite your tiny size, you flutter your wings really hard, and yep, this one rotates.
Okay.
Get that one to point east.
I'm thinking.
Katona is gonna go down to this one and get this one to point.
To that one?
Yeah, to this east one.
All right. If you could just go ahead and you could use like the freehand tool or polygon line or whatever to like draw like an arrow to where you're making these things go.
I'd say don't do that. I think that's wrong. So, how do I do the polygon thing?
It should be like right under your cursor. It should be like
There we go.
yeah.
That one. That one. That one. There. I want to say it's that.
So you're wanting to first... hold on a second, I fucked up that arrow, something fierce.
So
I'm sorry,
first,
my mouse has been acting finicky lately.
I say we move the pillar thing in the middle last, but get these ones set up. So it would go this one to this one. Oh, wait.
Okay.
But the thing is, the only concerning thing that I have is the fact that it comes back over the eye.
Yeah. There's no
I
way
don't
that
know-
I.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Let's
But we
try
have-
that and see what happens.
Yeah, because we think we have to hit all the pillars correct, right? Based off of the first
Yeah.
thing.
I'm just letting you guys work this one out.
That seems reasonable, I think. As long as we all keep close to each other and keep away from any areas, if something goes wrong, either nothing will happen or something will happen, and we'll be
Well,
safe because we were close together,
someone-
away from.
Well, someone's gonna have to turn the eye in the middle.
Let's
can-
all be in the middle when that happens.
But that's the thing. If it comes back over the eye, we don't know what would happen. So I think only one of us should.
Okay, actually, there's 4 of us and 4 pillars, but 1 in the middle. I guess we all shift in the directions that Katana's thinking about, with Kupog in the middle, shifting the middle pillar, or the
How-
middle altar.
Yeah. Tana, after she shifts these, is gonna go stand next to this pillar over here.
All right. So you spend a couple of minutes sort of rearranging the pillars, sort of turning them in place so that the eyes are facing in the ways indicated by the arrows on the map. And then you, I'm assuming you're sending Kupog in?
Yep.
Varl, where are you standing?
I'm staying on. Actually, I think I'll go on this side with everybody else after I've moved that pillar that way.
All right.
And once I do it, if I have time to react, I think I would hop in this direction, away from any potential death beams.
All right. So, you are at the altar, you're looking at the spike with the eye on it. What are you doing?
Rotate it to point at this one.
It's rotated and facing that way. Nothing happens.
Hmm.
Do we have any light?
Like everything is faintly illuminated. The ice is emitting this
No,
sort of
I
weird
meant-
arcane glow.
Can we create any light source, like fire?
I mean, if you want to, you could use a fire spell or some equivalent spell and make use of the intuitive magic system to just say you're using it to create light.
I can do that.
Okay.
Just have a fireball floating over my palm.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. I'm assuming that's still going to cost the MP though,
Yes, it will.
so I'll just go ahead and take that off real quick.
Go for it.
All right. So
All right,
yeah,
so
holding a fireball.
yep, a fireball emerges in your hand, and you have brighter illumination than you did before. What are you looking for in that light?
Try to shine it through the eye? Behind it?
The one on the altar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give that a try.
So you head over to the altar and you sort of hold your fireball up to it. While you're doing that, go ahead and make for me an awareness check.
All right. Do. 11.
An 11, all right. As you're sort of coming in and holding the fireball down, your naturally inquisitive mind just kind of makes you lean in and take a closer look, and you notice two things. One, that the spike is actually slightly higher up than the last one you saw on the other altar was, as if it could be pushed down. And second, you see reflected through the ice of the spike this already pre-existing, very faint dancing glow.
So
Can I do a lore everything check to see if I can know what I'm looking at here?
Sure, but it's going to be a pretty damn high DC because this is some pretty funky shit.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Rolls max. Boom.
17.
Almost.
All right, 17. Looking it over for a second, you're not really sure what like the actual arcane properties of any of this are. You've never seen anything quite like this, but you can definitely tell that you can push this button down.
All right. In that case,
that is probably what will initiate the process. You push the spike down into the pedestal, and that initiates whatever is going to happen.
Yeah. All right. So I call the rest of the group. Everyone, keep your guard up. I'm going to try something. I think this will work. And I push the button.
All right, so you sort of wrap your hand around the spike and you push it down like you're stabbing a sword into the ground. It sinks in with the sort of scrapey, scratchy sound, and once it's in, the light within the spike flashes brighter. And then, in the direction the eye was pointed, you quickly release your hand, and this ball of light shoots across like a dart, dancing across, flies directly into that pillar, which in turn flares up, and then another dart of light, brighter than the first one, shoots out of that and into the second pillar you had it pointed at. This repeats as it flies to the third, the light ball growing brighter as it hits the third, and then the fourth, and then flies into the wall of ice. Once the globule of... And it just shoots right over the spike. The spike is... Like, the eyes on the pillars are higher than the spike.
Okay.
So the ball of light disappears into the wall of ice. And a few seconds later, the whole thing just begins to dissolve and part as if it were melting, creating a means for you to pass through. Yeah, if you give me just a
You did
second.
it! Hooray!
Yeah, first try. Nicely done. I'm annoyed that everyone keeps solving my puzzles on the first go, but anyway. Like, first the one with the mirrors in the main game, and now this.
Well,
Too
the
many-
thing is, what
Too many people have played enough puzzle games.
I think it was just like connect the dots, and it's like, okay, we just need these to line up so it hits the wall of ice.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If you had failed that, we would have gotten a fun encounter with one of these boys.
Oh,
But you
well.
but you didn't fail, so we don't get that encounter. So I can just hit delete on them.
like also, if you had gotten rid of the wall that's like sitting over here, stuff, and actually put a pillar under this collapse.
Anyways, so hold still for a second. Stop moving your tokens for a second, so I can copy you over to the
No.
next map.
Lose a point of destiny.
All right, so you all make your way up further, continuing through, and you continue to ascend for a while through this very narrow, very claustrophobic corridor. The roof is still high, but you are forced to walk single file through it as it ascends higher and higher and higher, and you can hear up ahead the of wind from outside echoing ominously through this tunnel. And as you're getting higher and higher up, a different sound reaches your ears. This incredibly deep, rumbling, growling sound. It reverberates through the tunnel.
I would imagine that this is our behemoth.
I draw my sword.
As you come up to the exit of this tunnel, you find it opening out onto this large cliffside, one of the many steps that are sort of built into this pyramid, overlooking off to the left this impossibly long drop. You don't doubt that if you were to fall down that, it would kill you. Off to the right is a sheer rise that, you would not be able to climb with your current gear and equipment, save for perhaps the Dragoon. There are spikes and little jutting bits of ice and glowing blue crystal just kind of rising up, scattered about. And standing in the middle of it, glaring up at the sky, is a colossal creature of thick, bulging, pale blue skin filled with muscle. Coming out of its neck and emerging forward are these two gargantuan, curving upward horns. A mohawk of pale blue, silvery hair runs down the back of its head and neck, down the length of its spine. A long tail with mace-like spikes swishes back and forth behind it. These long, jutting, saber-tooth-like fangs emerge from its upper lip, and you can see steam coming out of its mouth and nostrils as it huffs these irritated breaths, glaring up at the sky. You have found your frost behemoth, and it is not presently looking your way. You'll give me
We
just
have a map of where this guy is.
yeah, if you'll give me just a second to make one
So
final
we'll have to say that the crystal is probably somewhere in here, and he's guarding it. We can just go and tell someone else to do this.
Well, why would we want to do that?
Because all our job is to just find the crystal and just leave it.
Well, we got to make sure people can get to it, don't we?
Okay.
I mean, they can get to it.
I'm gonna.
Painting a red carpet for these people. We don't know who they are.
Now, I bet good money that counts as a boss fight.
It counts difficulty-wise, it counts as an end boss.
An end boss.
Yep. I
Alright.
wanted to throw a true challenge at you guys to wrap this thing up.
I do have some. So I have a clarification about a spell I have.
Okay.
One of my spells specifies that it does not work on bosses, but follows up by saying that if the spell is resisted or otherwise has no effect, then it will do a certain amount of damage instead. So does that mean that it would do that damage to the boss fight, or does this spell just not work on bosses, period?
Just so that you have access to it, I'll say it will do the damage to the boss. What spell is that?
Death.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would still do its damage.
That's good. That's good, because that is not a tiny amount of damage it would do. I'm gonna chug another ether to get my MP back to full, though.
Alrighty.
You said that we're currently outside, right?
Yes. This is an exterior environment. All of these pale blue slopes on the north, east, and south edges of the arena are considered medium range rises, while the darker blue one off to the left is a long range drop.
How tall is the rise to the right?
It's a full on medium range, so 3 of those, and it's like vertical. It's like a sheer, perfectly flat thing.
I mean, that doesn't really bother me that much. I think I'll stick around and get what everyone's game plan is and consider preemptively hopping up on top of that ledge.
Well, I have a couple of spells I could throw at it. One, death, obviously. Comet could do more damage, but I'm worried about dropping comets on a cliff that we're probably going to be standing on that's made of ice. So I don't think...
Do we have, speaking as an out-of-character kind of a situation, do we have the time still to deal with this thing before
Well, how long does
Are
everyone
we-
have?
I have
All the
another
time in the
hour.
world.
Probably
Sure.
another hour.
Probably.
Yeah. I need to be off by 3,
And what time is it for you now?
2:23.
Oof.
So like 40 minutes.
Same.
I mean, if you guys rolled really fucking well on your damage and just did all of your highest damage things, we could possibly wrap up in that time. And the bosses tend to take a while. They aren't simple things.
I would say let's just hold off.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, as you're sort of piling out and taking this thing in, you do notice that it sort of lifts its head a little bit as you're sort of stepping out and realizing what it is. And then gradually it starts to turn its head your way. And as it does, you see that its eyes are not the traditional dark blue you would expect for a frost behemoth. They are instead a fiercely glowing shade of orange, and embedded in one of its brows, you see the unmistakable appearance of amber crystals.
Ah,
Boy.
fuck.
Its lips peel
Gotcha.
back with this ominous growl. Takes one stomp
And
towards
that's
you
your-
to engage you, and we will pick
And
that
that's
up next
who-
time we come
who
back
we're
to this.
after, right?
Yep, we will address that when we return.
All right.
So that'll be in 2
We're in
weeks. yes?
danger.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. I hope the music makes that clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says the shadows of. Oh, wait, no.
No. Okay, so yeah, we will pick this up next time. So yeah, this is turning out to be a 2-shot anyway, even though you guys skipped all of my normal difficulty combat encounters. Hey.
Honestly, I should have been rolling mind to see if I actually was smart enough.
Well, at any rate, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for tuning in. We'll record another session of this probably in a couple of weeks, and then that will go up too, probably, whenever Tom decides to upload these, because I'm not. So we will see you then. Until then, keep listening, people. Bye-bye. You can all say your own outros, too, if you want, just little bye-byes or whatever.
Oh. Bye.
Bye.
Fare thee well.
Yeah, if we ever do a campaign of this with us, get used to that format.